What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a packed daily news update where we are going to talk about a potential Vlahovic offer exit in January or in the summer. We have Iling Jr. again on the move to finance Rodrigo De Paul move. We have COLPANI heating up a little bit. We have young targets, which was what we are waiting for basically for a couple of years now, and we have Miretti potentially being out with an injury, which is unbelievable at this point, but that's what's actually happening at the club. Let's get straight into it. Before we do that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and let's go. Okay, let's start off with Vlahovic potentially moving because there was an offer. And before I get into it, you can see the source. Oh, it's Monblano. Give me a second because there's more to it. Monblano was speaking on Juventus, and so was Romeo Gresti. And that's what I mean with there's more to it. And he dropped a hint, Monblano, like somewhere throughout the show, and then he came back to it talking about Vlahovic because that was a talking point in that show. And what he had to say was, Atletico Madrid has shown interest in Vlahovic. It appears that they are actively pursuing the player and are quite confident in initiating discussions with Juve in January, provided they advance to the knockout stage of the Champions League. Now, what he is suggesting is that it's a January thing, you know. Atletico will come in for Vlahovic and it will be for January. If they advance to the knockout stage, whatever, the big point is they're thinking about making a move for him in January. And you might say, why? And I would say I agree because they have Morata, who's doing brilliantly this season. It's kind of pointless to make that move in January, in my opinion. You know, if Morata was struggling big time, then you could, believe it a bit more. So the January thing is a bit. However, the fact that there could be still offers for Vlahovic, I don't think will be a shock. And on top of that, it wouldn't be a shock if the club agrees to still move him on, despite talks. Like, talks are being held because of the financial situation. Because in year 4 or 5 of his contract, he's going to be on 12 million euros apparently, but it's going to increase every single season his wages. And the club is just buckling up and trying to protect their own balance sheet because the extension has nothing to do with, oh, we're going to lose Vlahovic. It's just about a financial situation because they don't really care about losing Vlahovic. They made that very clear in the summer when they were trying to ship him out for Lukaku. This potentially move, is just purely based on, this contract, is purely based on the financial situation. And like I said, it's Monblano, but then Romeo had something interesting to say, what I potentially was thinking as a thing that could happen, and what I hinted towards earlier this week. And he said the fact that Vlahovic's entourage is continuing to talk with Juntli and Mana suggests that through common sense an agreement may be reached. We will see what happens in the market as well, considering that last summer, if Chelsea had accepted Juve's conditions, Dusan would currently be under Pochettino's guidance and Lukaku will be in Torino. However, we don't know what will happen during the next summer transfer window. Perhaps someone will knock on the door, given that the remaining budget for the Serbian will be lower. He's keeping the door open, and I think we all should keep that door open because of last summer, because of the past summer. The club is in a situation, and if an offer comes in or they can strike a deal that's beneficial financially to the club, they will try to take it, So the Vlahovic thing, the extension is purely financially based. It's not that we're not want to lose Vlahovic, whatever. They are pretty open or pretty okay with losing Vlahovic. So that's an interesting thing, and I think that's something to not worry, but to keep in mind. I don't think for January, I don't think the club will sell Vlahovic in January because that's not very smart, in my opinion. That makes very little sense, especially with season to play out. Euros, I don't know if Serbia is going to get to the Euros, to be honest. However, it's not smart to do that in January, mid-season, shipping out players. We need players, actually. We don't need to ship out players at this moment in time, especially in January. So it's something to keep an eye on, and it's something that will 100% resurface very early in the summer, and maybe we'll be out there the entire summer, because it's something that's on the table, a bit like the Chiesa situation. Only Chiesa has basically no time on his deal, and this is actually not to lose Chiesa, rather to this is financially. So let's see what will happen with Vlahovic, but keep that door always open. The Tutto Sport news, and that was front page basically, or that was their main topic. It was the poll again, and this time with Junior again, saying that Tottenham are ready to spend 20 million euros on Junior, money the club will use to bring in the Paul. Alfredo Pedula was speaking about the Paul. He said the club wants a player like the Paul, or the Paul obviously, but that's the profile they're going for. The Junior thing is kind of picking up a bit more rumbling, and it's, you cannot say in this case, oh, it's Gazzetto, or it's La Stampa, or it's Corriere dello Sport. He has a contract till 25, Junior. He's not playing, and we try to move him out in the summer already. So do not be shocked if he's gone in January. He's playing Kostic, he has Cambiasso, De Chilio potentially coming back a way out, so he's kind of covered in that scenario. McKennie can play, and you bring in a midfielder or whatever. You can shift things around. If I were Junior, I will be gone, and I hate it, because I cannot say he is bad, he is amazing, whatever, because I've not seen enough. We haven't seen enough to make up our minds, and that's the frustrating part, because from what I've seen, he looks exciting. He looks like he is a player that can play a role in this team, starting, whatever, like getting minutes significant, like on a significant basis. He can make a difference. The fact that we're not seeing that, for me personally, is extremely frustrating, because again, Kostic gets the assist on set pieces or gets a one cross in, but other than that, it's bad to watch. It's not good. He doesn't contribute a lot moving forward. And when you see Junior coming on, and then you're like, how is he not getting minutes? So that's the frustrating part. Like, we're trying to move out a player. We should have given much more opportunities. However, I think he's gone. I think that's pretty sure that he's gone. I think he's one of the first players that will probably be moved on or sold during the January transfer window. If it's not January, probably the summer, It's sad, but that's what it is, I guess. Now let's move on to COLPANI, who is having a very good season. He's having a very good season. He's an attacking midfielder, in my opinion. He can play a bit more deeper, but like not DM-ish, but he can play maybe a bit like Rabiot, if that makes sense. But I think he's better as an attacking midfielder, or a bit higher up the pitch. He's having a very good season, and we were linked with him last summer. So, take that to the bank, that we will be linked with him now in January, and even the coming summer as well, because he's playing well. I'm actually very surprised that is he being called up to the national team? Somebody let me know, because I don't really follow it, but maybe that slipped my mind. But as far as I know, I've not heard that he was called up. I can be completely wrong, but he's having a very good season. He's valued at 25 million, and like every Italian team wants him. Juve, Inter, Lazio, Milan, they're all linked with him. He is a player that I think the club will potentially go for in the summer. However, it depends. It depends on what will happen in midfield in January, obviously. And what will happen with Rabiot? Is he gonna say? I saw the reports that they're trying to convince him and handing him out the captaincy. I'm not even mad about them offering the captaincy, because it means very little at this moment in time at the club. It's just that when I hear his mother agent speak of Rabiot, I'm like, this doesn't sit well. It's a 1 year deal. Trying to move on. And if you give him a long-term deal, he's not worth 7 million euros. Like let that sink in. Or let's get that straight. Rabiot's not worth 7 mil. So if you're trying to keep him, keep in mind it's gonna set you up for a couple of years, and you're not gonna get rid of it on those wages. So you need to make a decision this summer. A lot will happen. Also depend on January. If you sign a midfielder in January, permanent, not loan, then I think the direction is already set for the summer. If it's a loan, everything is open in the summer. Rabiot could potentially leave, and you need to bring in 2-3 midfielders. Who knows? But COLPANI is always going to be there 100%. Like 100% he's going to be there in the summer. Now let's move on to Neves, a player we already discussed. He is defensive midfielder. I'm not sure how old he is. Let me see. I made some notes. 19. So he's 19. The valuation is, I think they copy it from Transfer Market, because I looked it up, and it was indeed on Transfer Market 20 million. Benfica are not selling for 20 million. He's not one, or as of now, he's not a player that you're like, oh my God, he has star boy. Like, he's a certified star boy, if you know what I mean. Even if it turns out to be not to be a star boy, he's not being labeled like that. However, he's a very good player. I've watched him only in the Champions League, so I didn't really watch a league game, to be honest. And he's not flashy. Obviously, he's a DM, and maybe that's not fair, but he does his job very good. He does it very well, and if you tell me 20 million is out there, then yeah, like that's a good shout. However, it's not going to be 20 million, especially not if you read the news now. The record saying Man U are in for him, other teams are in for him. That's not going to be 20 million. It's not even going to be close. So I think that's just a name that's been out there, but I don't think we should take that serious moving forward, especially as of now. Like, things can change, but it feels like just a link to be linked, and it feels a link being pushed by the media rather than us, actually being in for him. So, good player, but I don't think we should be wasting much time on talking about him. Now let's move on to, oh my God, Sperzian. I'm gonna say Sperzian. Yeah, let's say that. He plays for Krasnodar. He's Armenian. He is an attacking midfielder, and that's why the news is strange. It's coming from Sky Italia, saying that they're looking at him, an offensive player from Krasnodar. I'm like, okay. And then the story goes on. He said he's valued at 50 million. I still think that is a bit undervalued. However, they go on saying he will be a much cheaper option than Berardi. They're not the same players. Potentially he can play on the right wing. He's not he's not that type of player. He's an attacking midfielder, period, in my opinion. And I've not watched him play. I just looked up stuff, and he plays attacking midfielder in the first division, in the Russian division. I think he's again, 0.5, I talked about it, GA, so he gets the numbers for an attacking midfielder. The Russian league or not, he's getting the numbers. I like these type of ideas. I'm not saying sign all, like let's say you have 5, you can make 5 signings in the summer. I'm not saying sign 5 players we never heard about. You're still Juve at the end of the day. You still need some sort of certainties in the team, or try to bring into the team. But the fact that we're linked with these type of players, and I don't really care if I know them or I don't know them. I'm willing to give Juntili and Mana not the benefit of the doubt, but time to move us, steer us into a different direction. And to do that, I need to kind of give them blind trust. Now, if they come out and say we want to sign Acerbi, I will be like, stop it. Like, blind trust with a peak here and there, basically. But these links I do like. It's encouraging, signing or not signing him. It's good that we're looking at different options, ideas. Like I said so many times, you don't need to overspend in Italy. We've done that. it needs to stop, in my opinion. It needs to stop because we're getting our pants pulled down every single time lately, in my opinion. So it's good that we're looking into those players, and that goes also for Sudakov from Shakhtar. Now I know a lot of people who watch the videos on the channel. They love this. They love that we are being linked with him. Again, only watch him in the Champions League because I don't watch the Ukrainian league or the Russian league for that matter. So I do watch Champions League games also because they played in Belgium as well this season. He looks very good, you know. Also attacking midfielder, also 1 for 2, you know, goals, assists almost for Shakhtar in the division, in the league. Valued, that's the big question mark, you know, because I've seen him being valued at 20, at 30, at 40, whatever. So that's all up in the air, but it's a good thing. And he spoke about it. He said interest from Juve. I know it. It pleases me. I follow them on TikTok, which is I don't know. I don't have TikTok. He said, but it's the club that chooses players, not me. I think he will move from Shakhtar in the summer. I think a lot of Premier League clubs will be in for him. I saw Brighton being linked with him. I saw even Arsenal being linked with him. I'm not sure if they need him right now. But again, encouraging that we are being linked with these players. You know, maybe not. Maybe he's more known than the previous player. However, it's not that everybody's watching the Ukrainian league. Like, let's be completely honest. So it's kind of unknown. It's potentially cheap option with a very high upset, and that's what you need to do coming summer as well. You know, and if you have money for a player, you know, are like he's going to be a certainty. He's going to come into the team and he's going to do well 100% because we know him. We've seen him play. He played at a level we can value, that we can rate, measure, like a Samacic, for example, or Thuram, who's been doing that at a high level for a few years now. Fine, but I think we need to add these type of players where you're like, not sure, but I will give them the benefit of the doubt. So let's see how that will go. But he's an option. He's a serious option, I think, for the summer. And now let's wrap it up with Miretti, because he left the under 21 national team and he came back with lower back pain. That's the new muscle injuries this season, lower back pain. You know, I think he had it, Huijsen had it, and Gatti, I don't know. But lower back pain, panic, because we are already without Locatelli. You know, the news is that he's not going to play. I think he's going to miss 2 or 3 games, you know, because it's not healing and it's painful what he has. And we are in big trouble in midfield. We cannot lose Miretti. You know, rate Miretti or do not rate Miretti. That's fine. We cannot miss him. Like, we don't have enough players. Now, according to Sky, he will be fine for the game. He just needs to kind of rest. And it was pointless to be at the under 21s because he was not going to play any games nor participate in full training practices. At that point, you just go back to your club and, you know, do your recovery process there. But for the Inter game, it's looking sticky. It's looking sticky. Romeo spoke about it, saying that, you know what? He can play in the Locatelli position or even Rabiot, and he feels it's going to be Rabiot. Let's see how that will go. It sounds like a disaster. It sounds like that midfield will get bullied and will get overrun, overpowered, and will have absolutely no foothold or control of that game. And that's what probably potentially could lose us that game. But not good news. Not good news on that front, but I do believe he's going to make it, Miretti. I don't think Locatelli is going to make it. So let's hope no injuries will be picked up, because I've seen Gatti will start and Chiesa for Italy. Like I said, I care about Juve, so I'd rather they don't play, especially with Inter on the horizon. I don't want any injuries. They are potentially missing Bastoni, but then I saw the latest updates. He's probably going to make it. Çalhanoğlu is sick. He's going to make it as well. So they are kind of good to go. I think they're missing Acerbi with injury and De Vrij as well. I'm not sure. But not so good news on the Inter game so far. So let's see what next week brings us when we build up to that big game. But as of now, that's the news, and we need to deal with it. That's it. That's it for this daily news update. If you haven't liked the video, like it now. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification if you are new, and I will be back with a live show later today. See ya.